Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited about today's video because we are going to be doing a full face of makeup that I am thankful for. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and I thought in honor of this holiday that I will be celebrating with my family tomorrow, I thought it would be really fun to sit down and just play with makeup and talk about some of the makeup products that I am just really excited about and that I really love. I know that not everyone celebrates Thanksgiving, but for most of us with the holidays around the corner, with the coming new year, I think it's a really good time of year to kind of just reflect on the things that we are grateful for in our lives. Now granted, makeup is not the most deeply meaningful thing in my life. The things that I am truly grateful for down in my heart go a little bit deeper than makeup, but that's not to say that I don't still enjoy makeup. Being able to share that enjoyment with you guys is so much fun for me. So I just went through all of my makeup today and just gathered a few things that I just really kind of felt like playing. Some of these are old, some of these are new, and we're just gonna come up with a makeup look today. So I hope that you guys are excited about this one. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you will consider subscribing, stick around for a while, hit that notification bell just so that you know every time I upload a new video. And with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. I do want to give a quick credit for this idea. This was not my original idea. I think Allie Glines did a video like this last year. I think I've seen Emily Noel do videos similar to this as well, so this is certainly not my original idea. Alright you guys, so starting off with the face, and I feel like my hands are still dirty from swatching. I spent so much time swatching before this video trying to decide which eyeshadow palette to pick, which I'm sure you guys can imagine. I am generally thankful for eyeshadow. One of my favorite things in makeup, which you're like, yeah, Mandy. We know this about you. You're obsessed with eyeshadow. But I know I'm not the only one. And I didn't even tell you guys what I used for primer. I just took a little bit of the Garnier Illuminating Moisturizer. One of my favorite primers. Super affordable from the drugstore. I've been talking about it for many months here on my channel. So now for foundation, we're just going to go in with my Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. Just looks so healthy. Just is so hydrating. My skin is often dehydrated, and so I feel like it solves one of the biggest issues that I have with my skin. For concealer, I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. This is the Neutralizer shade. I've probably repurchased this concealer, I think 3 or 4 times, but this is one that I feel like is just very easy to use because it is so like thin. It's hard to go overboard with this concealer. Plus I think the applicator, which I know a lot of people get annoyed with this applicator, I think because it kind of distributes the concealer into the applicator before you apply it to your face, it makes it less likely for you to kind of apply too much, I guess. Which, if you're not super experienced with makeup or with using concealer, I feel like that is huge. Moving on to something else I'm very thankful for. Cream bronzer, cream contour. This year has been, I won't even say this year, really since the summertime when I discovered the Wet n Wild one and then stepped up to the Milk Makeup one. I'm just a huge fan of cream bronzer. I still do love some of my powder bronzers, but I love that I get to use this sometimes as well. So I do think I want to layer a little bit of bronzer on top because I am also thankful for my powder bronzers. I love a good bronzer. So I'm going to take a little bit of the Milk Chocolate Bronzer from Too Faced, and we're just going to add a tiny bit of this, just kind of almost above where I put the milk one. This one's a little bit lighter and just a little bit warmer, I think. Almost has like a yellow tone, which actually works really well for my skin when it's a little bit more fair. I am planning to do a very rich chocolatey eye, so I kind of want to go a little bit more heavy-handed with the bronzer and the blush today. So now I want to move into a little bit of blush. We're going to go into my Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur blush in the shade Blurred Buff. This I think will go perfect with my chocolatey eye today. I'm just taking my Luxie stippling brush and just kind of swirling it in there. I just tapped my brush off. It's a cream, Mandy. It's a cream. Oh. Now let's go ahead and use a little bit of highlight. I was going back and forth between the cheapest highlight in my collection, and not even because it was the cheapest and the most expensive, but because these are the two that I genuinely wanted to use for this video. So it's between the Essence Pure Nude and the Charlotte Tilbury. Why don't we go ahead and use the Charlotte Tilbury, because as much as I am more grateful for affordable makeup, I do love a little splurge in my life. I love this stuff, you guys. I hate recommending it because it's just so dang expensive, but every time I use this, I'm like, oh, it's lovely. It really is lovely. So I'm going to take that just between 2 fingers and we're just going to tap that right on top there. Just super lightly. So pretty. I need to use this more. I'm not using it as fast as I know I probably should be before it will expire. Like the rate that I'm using it right now, I'll probably have it for about 6 years because I use this like only on special occasions, which I feel like I talk about all the time. The fact that I save things for special occasions and I also don't have special occasions in my everyday mom kind of life, but I need to rethink what a special occasion is. Like maybe parent-teacher conference should be a Charlotte Tilbury occasion. Okay, so now we're going to move into, let's do our brows next. And I am going to take my lovely little Ultra Slim brow pencil. Now we're going to move into my favorite part of the makeup process, the eyeshadow. I'm going to start off by just adding a little bit of my Wet n Wild primer that still has product left inside of it. I feel like I've been talking about the fact that I'm just about out of this thing for the last 12 months and it's still not gone. Alright, so for the eyes, I actually have 3 eyeshadow palettes that we're going to be playing with today. I know that's excessive. I'm hoping that you guys know that this is not me saying, hey, you guys need to have all 3 of these eyeshadow palettes. Go out and buy them right now. This is just me having fun, playing with 3 because I can. So recently in my eyeshadow palette Black Friday video, I swatched so many palettes in that video and I just was reminded of how much I really do love my Juvia's Place palettes. So we're going to be breaking out these 2 today. And I'm also going to be dipping a little bit into the browns in the Tati Beauty palette. So here was my thought behind the eyeshadow look today. Initially, I went into this palette and I started swatching some of the green in here. And then on top of that green, I layered a little bit of this yellow. And that's the swatch that you see on my hand. But on top of that, I also went in and popped a little bit of this green. And look how beautiful that is. I'm so tempted to put this on my eye. But then I looked at my shirt and I thought to myself, enough is enough, Mandy. You match your eyeshadow to your shirt almost all the time. Let's do something different. Decided we're not going to do that today. So this will have to be for another time. Then I thought, okay, it's Thanksgiving. What says Thanksgiving more than pumpkin pie? So I thought, oh, there's some beautiful oranges inside these palettes that we could try out. And then I reminded myself that I actually don't like pumpkin pie very much. So then I thought to myself, what pie do you like, Mandy? My favorite pie is chocolate mousse. All the way. It is my absolute favorite dessert in the world. It is rich, it is dark, it is delicious, it is creamy. So that's the inspiration behind this makeup look today that we're going to be doing. It's going to be all chocolate. So I'm wanting to mostly concentrate on this palette. So these 2 browns right here, the deep brown in this palette, also the deep brown in the Tati palette, because I do really love these browns for my outer corner. I mean, they're just rich. And then I might just dip a tiny bit into this shade right here just to lighten some of the transitions up, and maybe a little bit of this kind of, it's gold, but it's very like rich looking. I feel like this would look beautiful maybe on like the inner lid. I don't know for sure. We may or may not actually end up using this palette very much, but we're just going to do a chocolate eye. And I just spent 5 minutes talking about this chocolate eye look. Let's go ahead and get into the application process. Oh, Mandy. So I'm going to start off by going into this palette right here. We're going to dip into this shade right here. I'm really going to load that up into my Morphe M504 brush. And then I'm going to dip into the Nubian 2 palette. I actually don't play with multi-palettes very often. This does get a little bit complicated, but it is kind of fun. So we're going to dip into this brown right here. I just want it a little bit lighter than what's in the pan, so I'm going to combine those 2 together. And I'm really going to concentrate this up above my crease. I did have a comment from one of you or someone recently recommending that I put my transition quite a bit higher because I have so much brow bone space, which is absolutely true. The space between my crease and my brow is like 5 times bigger than the actual space on my eyelids, so I think this is a great tip. So now I just dipped back into just this color all by itself, and we're gonna kind of go a little bit lower with it this time. And I actually just got done watching Scott Barnes do Tati's makeup again, so I'm going to do what he did, and instead of like pulling it down, I'm going to pull it over towards the corner of my brow, because he's Scott Barnes. So again, I'm just going to do the same thing, combine the 2 shades together, and we'll go into the other eye. So let me tell you guys a little story about chocolate mousse pie. So in the past, and I'm talking like 5 years ago and before then, my idea of a chocolate mousse pie, and anytime I would make a chocolate pie, it was basically a box of instant Jell-O mixed with a carton of Cool Whip, which, don't get me wrong, is delicious. But I decided one day that I wanted to teach myself how to make real chocolate mousse. So I did a ton of research. I practiced and practiced, and I have kind of mastered, I know this sounds a little cocky, but I have. I've mastered the chocolate mousse pie. That looks a little, does that look crazy? I feel like this maybe looks crazy. I haven't done this before. Maybe this was a mistake. Guess we'll find out. So a few months ago we had this fall party, and it was a pie night, and I made my pie for that night. Was super excited to take it, to let everybody taste it. So on my Wayne Goss number 18 brush, I'm just going to start building up this brown in my kind of outer corner and crease area here. So when we got to the party, it was a warm summer evening still. This was like early September, and we didn't cut into the pie right away when we got there. So it just kind of sat out on the table for probably 30 or 45 minutes. And initially when we got there, people were asking me, oh, what kind of pie did you bring? And I was like, oh, this is a legitimate chocolate mousse pie. And I was kind of bragging about it a little bit and just telling them, oh, I can't wait for you to taste it. It's so good. It's such a good recipe. And anyways, kind of talking up my pie. And then it just sat out there for like 30 or 40 minutes. I didn't have any way to keep it cool. So once we finally got around to cutting into all the pies, I think it was like a little kid that took the first piece out, and it was like a sloppy, soupy, hideous, terrifying mess. And I was just like, I shouldn't say mortified. It was obviously not that big of a deal. I'm pretty sure nobody really thought about it or cared very much, but I was just like, my pride was so injured. So you better believe I am excited for redemption this Thanksgiving. So I'm going to work on my lower lash line just a little bit. I'm going to take my Real Techniques shading brush, and we're going to start off by dipping into this color right here. I'm just going to run that kind of a little lower underneath this lower lash line, almost in that like socket area down there. Now I'm going to go into, with that same brush, that darker brown, the color Kenya right here, and we're going to just take a light amount of that and just really drag that really close to my lashes, almost like in my lashes. I'm just concentrating on the outer third of that lash line. Now we're going to go into the Tati palette. Again, this is totally not necessary. I'm just using these because I enjoy all of them. So I'm just going to take a mixture of these two browns right here, of the sequin and also the matte, and I'm going to just start applying these with my Morphe M507, a little bit more concentrated right above that lash line right there, and then just very lightly kind of swooping it over into this crease area there. I just really want this to deepen up that little corner right there. The more I've been using, especially like dipping into this palette for the matte browns, I mean these matte browns, you guys can probably tell, look at the richness that this gives you. Not to say I couldn't achieve something very similar with the brown inside here, but I do think the Tati ones have a level of depth and richness that's just a little bit more intense than some of the other matte browns that I have in my collection. So this is just a clean brush. I'm just kind of running it along the edge here. I'm going to actually go into this palette right here, and we're going to take this shade right here. I'm going to run that just almost like under the brow bone, kind of where I put some of that transition shade, just kind of blur that harsh edge that I had going on there. It's unfortunate that brow bone space is not something that people covet, because man, you would covet my eyes. Like Kathleen Lights, when I look at her lids, I'm just like, wow. Alright, so now we are going to, what do we want to do on the lid? Ooh, we're going to go back into the Juvia's Place Nubian 2, and I'm going to take this color right here. This is the color Sheba. So I'm just applying this almost over where we put that deep brown, but I'm trying not to go all the way into the corner, which I actually did buff a little bit of that out, but I'm trying to just kind of keep it right above this part of the eye and slightly overlapping that center point, and then we'll tap something else over that. See how rich and chocolatey that shimmer is? It's so nice. Just have to remind myself when I dip into the Juvia's Place shimmers, they're pretty buttery. You can get a lot of product on your finger, so you really don't need to press very hard. If you get too much product on your finger, you're going to get some excessive fallout, but man, how pretty is that? Alright, now we're going to go into the Magic Mini, and I am going to take a little bit of this shade right here. So this one does have just a touch of warmth to it. But I'm just tapping that on that inner third of the lid. And then we're going to take the Nubian 2 palette and go in with the color Zuri, the Champagne. So I'm going to take this little brush. This is actually a paintbrush from Low Cornell. It's just a really flat, I just love the size of it for my inner corner. And if you're wondering the number, it's a number 270. It's very scratchy. You don't want to use the tip of it. You really just want to use it to kind of press and pat, but I do love it for times when I'm just not wanting to use my finger. So I'm going to take a little bit of that. I think I've seen Allie Glines do this technique lately and I want to try it. We're just going to kind of pull that like up into this kind of crease right here, just to like brighten up that crease. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Ooh, she's onto something. Okay, how completely gorgeous is this eye look? Chocolate mousse pie on my eyes, and I'm loving it. Now I'm going to go back into the Dottie palette. Again, not necessary. You could totally just use something you have, but I am going to dip into the Matte Aura shade, and I'm going to take that on this brush right here. This is a Luxie 209. You really could use anything. Just popping this on the eyelid. Alright, so the eyeshadow is done. Now we're going to go in with a little bit of liner. One of my favorite liners. Wet n Wild Kohl eyeliner pencil in the color Simma Brown now. I love this. This is my Holy Grail eyeliner. Very simple, but it works for me. I don't find it to smudge or to run on me, surprisingly, because it's not super long wearing, but I just feel like the formula is slightly waxy and almost sheer to the point where it just works so good. So I'm just running that on my upper and my lower waterline, but just on kind of the outer part. And then I'm going to just add a little bit to my upper lash line just to give me even more dimension right there. Now for mascara, I'm going to go in with one of my favorite mascaras that I'm happy to have back in my life. It is the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. I'm going to add a couple of coats of this and then I will be right back and we will finish off with the lips. Alright you guys, so here are the finished chocolate mousse eyes. Don't they look so pretty? I mean, they're very dark and rich, which is a little darker and richer than I usually go, but I was going for it, you know? Pie inspiration. So now we're going to move on to the lips. I'm going to start off by going with a little bit of this. This is Trending from CoverGirl. I'm going to take a lip brush. This is just a Morphe MB19. I'm going to kind of line my lips with this. Now I'm going to add a little bit of Almay's Never Regret, which is just kind of like a nude brown. And then on top of that, we're going to top things with a little bit of Honey Lip Gloss by Persona Cosmetics. I love this lip gloss so very much. This they sent to me, and I actually went out and bought another one for a giveaway that we have coming up because I love it so much. Alright you guys, and this is the completed makeup look. Super happy with how this one turned out. It's definitely very chocolate mousse pie vibes going on today. Might have gotten a little darker and richer than I wanted it to, but I still think it's really pretty and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel today. For those of you that will be celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope that all of you have a wonderful day wherever you are. I hope that you guys are excited about the holiday season coming up. I mean, the new year is around the corner. Blows my mind. But last thing, I just want to say one more thing that I'm grateful for, and that is definitely you guys. This last year has been so exciting for me. To see my channel grow the way that it has over the last even 6 months has been just such a joy to watch. And I think more than anything, what brings me so much joy is watching how excited you guys get for me and how much you guys support me. Whether you leave me supportive comments, recommendations, or even just view my videos, it means the world to me, and I hope that you guys know that. Thank you all so much. I hope that if you are new to my channel, if you have not yet subscribed, please consider doing that before you leave. And that is it. I hope that you guys have a great one, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! Surprise you guys, I'm popping into this video to announce a giveaway. I wanted to sneak this into this video to celebrate passing 10,000 subscribers. I am so excited to hit this milestone and to celebrate and say thank you to you, my loyal subscribers and viewers. I am doing 2 giveaways, each one filled with some of my favorite makeup products. So to find out what is going to be inside the giveaways, I will be doing a couple of sneak peeks both on my community tab here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. Be sure to check there over the next several days. The giveaway officially starts today and will close on December 6th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That is next Friday. So here is how you can enter. First of all, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Second, leave me a comment down below with the hashtag, and this is very important. Make sure to include this hashtag, and that is hashtag 10KGA, as in giveaway. And the third thing is to make sure that you leave in that comment a way for me to contact you. I would prefer this to be an Instagram handle if you have Instagram. If you do not have Instagram, you can also leave a valid email address. Again, this is very important. Make sure you leave me your Instagram handle or your email address so I can contact you if you win one of the 2 giveaways. Again, the giveaway will end on Friday, December 6th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, at which time I will randomly select 2 winners. So on December 6th and December 7th, be sure to check your IMs, check the email address that you entered with, and make sure that you respond, because if I do not hear back by December 8th, I will select another winner. And that is it. Thank you guys again. This would not be possible without each and every one of you. I love and appreciate you all so very much. Thank you for making this possible. Happy Thanksgiving to those of you that are celebrating, and I will see you all very soon. Good luck.